We miss you, Mary Beth. I know she's probably exhausted. You're flying
probably
all day.
Just getting there.
Yeah. Good morning, Susan. Good to see you. So, ladies, I'm going to see if Nancy is in Chicago. Never mind, she's not here. That's right. I was like, I always want to wait for my Seattle girl, but she is in Chicago. So we won't wait for Nancy because she will not arrive. She's on vacation. So we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
Yay.
So good to see everybody here. We are not meeting next week. Before I start the meeting, because I don't want to forget to remind you. So just a reminder, next Friday, sleep in, enjoy your Labor Day. I think some of you are going away. So I hope you have a great long weekend. Kicking off the last of summer for some of you. Or Margaret and Judy and I are like, here comes summer. So the hurricanes. So we're hoping they just stay away.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jennifer too. Huh? We don't want to go to Louisiana. Go away.
No.
Go back out in the Atlantic. So since we kind of all know each other, we'll let's do favorite book. Yes, one. Nonfiction, fiction. I know you're all like, yeah, it's okay. Favorite book. Margaret Martin.
Speaking of favorite vacation.
It's hard to choose from all, I did the
You can pick your own, by the way.
So, other than the chatter that matters, my favorite book is A Land Remembered by Patrick Smith, and it's about the early days of Florida and how Florida got established and became a cattle state, which most people don't know we are a cattle state.
Yes, that's true. Now, I never heard of that book. Now, see, I should be taking notes to write onto my wish list of books. I'll check the recording. Thank you, Margaret. I'm next. My favorite fiction book is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. Many of you may have seen the movie. It's narrated by death. I know that's not sounding very pleasant, but it's a story of World War II Germany and a family who hides a Jewish man in their basement. And it's a wonderful, wonderful story. Highly recommend the movie and or the book. The Book Thief. All right, Jennifer, you're next. You went away. Did you grab it?
I went searching, books all over, piles, and I found something. I don't know if I think it's turning into a favorite, and I guess it's more like a business book. But I'm also reading something about Florida too, and all this time I thought we came over, we took over Florida, then we had Florida. It went between like Spanish, British, those friendly natives, and then we finally got it like the beginning of the 1800s.
And I don't remember it either.
Yeah, I can't believe I was so dense about that.
I don't know if we were taught it, honestly.
Right? And there's so much, so how do you even remember all that?
Well, did you hear Margaret's book recommendation? You probably want to add that to your pile.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I'm reading something kind of similar. Who wrote that one?
I'm going to put it in the chat. Patrick Smith.
Thank you, Margaret.
And mine is like this thin thing, and it's still like a lot of stuff. But I'm reading Grit. I don't know if anybody's checked that one out. That's a really good one. I think I'm only halfway, 3/4 of the way through because it's got so much to it. And, it's just very interesting. She goes into a lot of studies about how you can be grittier and who is gritty. And it's just very interesting, and you might like it.
Thank you.
Lots of stuff you can quote. And
Angela Duckworth, those of you in Celestial Changemakers, you will be getting that book. Don't order it today. That's one of our books.
It's coming your way.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Kelly Lutman.
I have a favorite book. The one that actually pops into mind was from homeschooling days, that we used a literature-based homeschooling program curriculum. So we read an average of 45 books a year at each grade level. When my kids graduated high school, I put that we used a literature-based program, and I added an extra page to their high school transcript outlining all the texts, all the books we read. It was 3 columns, 8-point font. to get it on one page.
Gosh, wow.
They were well read.
Wow.
But this particular book was called Seven Daughters and Seven Sons, and I can't actually remember who the author was right now. I could look it up, but it was about two brothers. One had seven daughters and one had seven sons, and of course the seven sons, because this was the Middle East culture. You know, he was prideful because he had sons and his other brother had only daughters, but one of his daughters was very brilliant, and her dad had taught her, which girls weren't usually taught, and she ended up going in, hiding as a man and going into business and besting each of her cousins in business. So it was kind of cool. And then it became a love story, of course.
Of course. We got to have that. Oh, it sounds good, though.
I enjoyed reading that with each of my boys that went through that level.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like a Seven Brides for Seven Sisters scenario. I'm glad it wasn't.
different. It was
Love it.
really unique.
Awesome.
You know, not hard reading, but very enjoyable.
Oh, that sounds great. Debbie's asking for book titles in the chat box, so Jennifer and Kelly, we can go ahead and start that. Hannah, you are next.
I will not take upon me to have a favorite business or non-fiction book at this time, because I'm in a book club and in various groups with a coach who drowns us in different books, and they are all good. For the fiction part, I am and will always stay as a fan of the classics. I spend my days in Victorian London, and Charles Dickens is beyond anything my favorite author, and I cannot decide which is the best. Bleak House, which I finished hearing yesterday for the third or fourth time this year, or if it's Our Mutual Friend by the same author. They are both brilliant. He knows about people, this guy, Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens. God bless you for reading Charles Dickens. I could never get, maybe because I was assigned Charles Dickens. I don't know. What, Charles Dickens, everybody. Put it on your list. Love it. Susan Shelton.
Okay. Got to clarify here.
I keep singing.
Everyone here is so deep. They're talking about such important books, and
It's okay.
I do read business books, but if I want to like enjoy myself, I'd say just about anything from Nicholas Sparks.
All right.
I enjoy his writing. I enjoy his books. I enjoy the location that, you know, that area of North Carolina that most of them are in. In fact, we vacation there. So it's just a really nice way for me to relax when I do time to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love The Notebook. That's still one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Of his. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Good choices. All right, Judy Kane, what you got for us? Oh.
I hate favorite questions.
Well, thanks.
It always depends, you know, and then I can't remember stuff and like, well, is that really my favorite? So anyway, well, and usually I'm reading nonfiction these days, although for years I would massively consume fiction. I read a good fiction recently, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. That was a good book to read. I like anything by John Irving because he's quirky.
Yeah.
And I loved Eat, Pray, Love with Elizabeth Gilbert. She was so funny in the way she revealed the stuff about herself. So those are the things that come to mind. Good
Selections. Mr. Wu approves. He wants to eat, pray, and love a little more. He doesn't need to eat anymore. Okay, Crawdads. We just finished that for our book club. That's very timely. Debbie Keevan. Oh, I know she hates me today, right? She's like, favorite, what?
Wasn't last time our favorite vacation?
Yes.
So I'm going with a book that I read every year, and it's a favorite. It is not a classic, but it is called The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. It's a historical fiction that tells the tale through time of Dracula. And so it goes to Turkey, and I mean, literally, the hair on my arms are standing up. Even now, there's one character in particular that I can visualize, and it freaks me out. So it's just a really, really great read. So I'm putting that one. Though it
That's
could
a good selection.
so many.
It's a tome though, man. It's a thicken. You want to make sure you have time for it. Oh, Connie Jo, what do you have for us?
Okay, well, I'm in a book club, and I've been in this book club for 25 years, I think.
Whoa.
And this is the books that we read. It's so tiny you can't read it.
It's like Kelly's
The
transcript.
woman who runs the book club, she keeps adding to it. There's probably not all of them on here, but I've read so many books. But anyway, I have to pick three. They always pop to the top of my list. The first one is A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving, and The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver, and Cold Sassy Tree by Olive Ann Burns.
Oh, I approve of all three of those books.
And those are books I've read multiple times, and typically I don't read books multiple times, but those three books I've read more than once, each one of them. But I just read two books that I got to tell you about. One is called Never Have I Ever, and it's by Jocelyn Jackson. She's a Georgia writer. She lives in Decatur, Georgia, and it's really good. That's what I was reading. Oh no, I didn't tell you. No, I started reading it Saturday, and I fell asleep. It fell on my face and woke me up at 2:30 in the morning. I kept reading. And then I got up Sunday morning before my coffee club and finished it. I couldn't go to coffee until I finished the book. It was really good. And then I just read another one called 9 Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty. And it's really good. They're thriller kind of books, which I love thrillers.
Will you pop all those in the chat for us?
Sure. Here's my top 3, and I'll do the other ones.
All right.
I've read Cold Sassy Tree too.
Yeah, I figured that. I was just going to ask you if you read that.
It's set in Georgia, so.
Georgia. It's a great little book. Susan Rose.
Okay, I'm going to completely change the tone of what we said are our favorites, although I'm going to agree that all the ones that I've read that everybody's mentioned, I love. So I do read good literature sometimes also. But I'd have to say overall my favorite is the Harry Potter series. Because of the connection with my family. I mean, we were on a family trip in Colorado when book 6 came out, and we made a pilgrimage to the bookstore to buy it. And my husband and I each had to buy our own copy because we couldn't wait for the other one to finish reading it. So, there's a lot that's great about it in general, but that's, the family stuff is wonderful. But my book club is obsessed with Louise Penny. If you all haven't read her books, she's so much fun, and my friend even named her bay house 3 Pines because there are 3 pines in her front yard. So if you've read Louise Penny, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you don't, but that's great fun if you just want some murder mystery stuff to, cold winter nights are the best for Louise Penny.
That's awesome.
Those are one-day reads.
Yeah, Louise Penny.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, now we all have books to add to our wish list, or a library wish list, or audiobook wish list. Hannah recommended also audiobook Cheryl Stickens with a narrator, so be sure to check that out. So we'll get started now with our speaker, who is Judy Kane, and I think Jennifer has the bio honors. Yes. So we'll have Jennifer go, and then we'll hand it over to Judy after that.
Oh, sorry. Let me find it. I pulled it up. Okay. Good morning. Judy Kane is a Psych K facilitator in the Tampa Bay area. She helps people rewrite subconscious, self-limiting beliefs. Clients come to her to transform major stressful reactions, traumas, phobias, anxiety, grief. She achieves a conscious goals and or change beliefs that are causing physical symptoms of stress. She's been using Psych K since 2011 and started her business Aligned Consciousness in 2014. Originally from Richmond, Virginia, Judy moved to Florida in 2015. She sees clients in her office and virtually using Zoom. For more information, go to her website, alignedconsciousness.com.
So this is good because you all know me, and many of you know what PsycK does. So this is good. I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of time putting together information about PsycK. So what I'm going to talk about is what might be holding you back. And so I'm wondering, is there any part of your business life that feels stuck? Maybe it's not the right time to do something, or maybe you don't feel like you have enough time, or maybe you're stressed out about what's going on in your business, or maybe you have no idea why, you're just stuck. So I thought it would be kind of fun to explore some reasons you might be stuck. And I'm keeping the examples focused on business, but it's the same general approach, whatever area of life you might be wanting to change. Okay. So if it's not the right time, here are some things I have found might be contributing to that. Okay. Maybe you don't have all the pieces figured out and you're not comfortable moving forward. Yeah. Susan and Debbie in particular would understand this is a very personal dot point. Because it took me months and months and months to get stuff out there. My newsletters, my blogs, my giveaways, all these things took forever. And it's, if I didn't have all the pieces figured out, then I wouldn't be comfortable moving forward. So it didn't feel like the right time because I just didn't know everything. Or sometimes it doesn't feel like the right time because you need it to be perfect. So it's like, if it's not perfect, it's not time yet. You got to polish and, make all the pieces of it just exactly right. Or maybe it's not the right time because you don't trust yourself to know what it's supposed to look like, or you don't trust the universe to support you in moving forward. Or it could be feeling like not the right time because there's just this general fear of change and you don't know what it's going to be like on the other side. And you need a little bit more curiosity about what that could be instead of fear. Sometimes people feel like it's not enough time, right, to get something done, to get on to move forward. So that could be either there's just not enough time in the day, just a scarcity mentality of hours and minutes. Or it might be because you don't think your business is as important as all the other tasks you need to do, or all the other people in your life that you feel like you need to spend your time on. Maybe it doesn't feel like enough time because you're just exhausted. You're not putting time in for self-care, the sleep or the nutrition or the exercise, or whatever it is that might have you out of balance and contribute to exhaustion. Or it might be, and this is one of my things, you just think the task is going to take longer than the slot of time that you have available. So if it's not going to fit, let's wait until you've got more time so you can all fit in. And being an IT professional for decades, I always err on the side of estimating a little bigger so that I don't get held to the estimate that's too small. So it's like, if I've got to do something, I think it's going to be this big, and it usually never takes that long, or you can break it up into smaller pieces. So it's a motivation thing or a confidence thing, maybe, that you can really, that you can fit it in pieces if you need to, or it's okay to start it and stop it, as long as it's not in 2-minute increments. But tasks taking too long will keep me from starting stuff when I've got a little bit of time. Or if you're just generally stressed out about what to do next in your business, it could be that there's a safety issue. Not physical safety necessarily, but entrepreneurs or people in leadership roles, they need to be visible. And that doesn't feel safe for a lot of people. So that can bring up some anxiety and make you just stressed out about moving forward. Because it also leaves you open for other people's opinions and comments, which you don't always want to hear either. It could be tied to money. There's so many beliefs that are connected to money But a couple of them that seem to be very popular with people I see is that you don't deserve to have more than you need, or money's the root of all evil. Both of which will keep you from moving, moving forward in your business and getting the money that would imply, because the money is the problem, actually. Or sometimes people are stressed out because they just don't feel like they deserve to be successful for a variety of reasons. And then there's the, I have no idea why I'm stuck, I'm just stuck. So that could be, maybe you think you don't know enough to move forward. Or maybe you think you don't have all the resources that you need to be, to do whatever the next thing is for your business. It might be that you're worried about if your business takes off, what's that impact on relationships that you've got? Or it could be tied to something from childhood stereotypes about whatever groups you might belong to, because those can be really powerful things to put on the brakes for people. Or it could, a lot of times people just don't think there are enough clients out there for them. So that scarcity mentality comes up again in terms of, well, there just aren't enough people out there that want my business. So these are all indicators that, you could have subconscious beliefs that are slowing you down, right? Because consciously you could make an argument against all these things. And we all know that, we all believe things about ourselves consciously, but we know that our actions say that there's something that's going counter to that. So subconscious beliefs are kind of interesting things. Humans are born so that, the first 7 years, they're just little sponges. They're just picking up all these beliefs because they have to build their operating system, basically. So it's designed to give you the information you need to be successful or actually survive in the environment that you're born into. So you're just soaking up, no filters, just soaking up beliefs from wherever you can find them to help you figure out how to navigate your environment. So obviously you get them from your family, but you could get them from friends, you can get them from the neighborhood, you could get it from church, from school, from TV, it's wide open where these beliefs could come from. Some of them certainly help you with your environment, others aren't even helpful then, and many of them aren't helping you now. And you can get these subconscious beliefs at any time in your life, but until you're 7, you're really actually building your operating system. So that's when a lot of it goes in. And this subconscious mind is what controls 95% of your behavior. And it's 1,000,000 times faster than your conscious mind. So when it's running, it's a hard competitor against conscious goals. And it's what controls your default behavior. So if you're like me, when you're driving the car, unless there's really intense traffic or horrendous weather, you are not fully focused and present on the driving process. You're thinking about what you're going to do next or something that's already happened. It's your subconscious that's driving the car. It's your default behavior. And it's the same way with everything that happens in the rest of your life. If it's not something that you are fully intentionally focused on right this second, your subconscious is driving the car. So whatever's in there is really important to what happens. And you can tell what's going on by what's happening in your life, right? You don't have to guess too hard. If this thing that you don't want is there, your subconscious has got some beliefs that are not helping you. So as you all know, I work with clients with the Psych-K, and when I work with people, the first thing I ask them, what's going on now that you want to change? Because that's the biggest indicator of where we've got a disconnect between conscious and subconscious beliefs. And then we get to the sometimes harder question of what would you rather be experiencing? Because sometimes people don't know what they do want. They just know really clearly what they don't want. And so it takes a little work sometimes to figure out what they want. But so for some of the blocks that I talked about earlier, these are some examples, and I always work with people, get them to put their statements into their words. But these are examples of ways I would address some of the things that I was talking about earlier. So if you don't have all the pieces figured out and you're not comfortable moving forward, a belief like it's okay to move forward before I have all the answers would be a better belief to help you move forward, right? And that's what I did in July to get all of my stuff out so that I could start producing these things. If you think there's never enough time in the day, well, how about I have all the time I need to do what I need to do? If your subconscious believed that, it would work. Trust me, that's something that's worked for me for years, that, there's plenty of time for me to get done what I need to do. If tasks seem to be taking too long, wouldn't you rather believe in your subconscious that it's easy for you to fit your priority tasks into your day? Or how about it's okay to have more money than I need? That one gets I've only had one client that tested strong for that one. I mean, everybody else, that's like, it's not, you shouldn't want more than you have, than you really need. That's greedy. So it's like that's a hard one. Or if it's a lack of knowledge or resources, how about believing I have everything I need to succeed? And that would cover your knowledge, whatever resources you think are lacking. Scarcity of clients. There are plenty of clients out there who value what I can do for them. Right? That's what we want. We want the people that want us. And they're all there. But if you don't think they're there, you're not going to find them. So I help people change these limiting subconscious beliefs to supportive beliefs. As you know, it's called Psych-K. And we change a belief, we call it a balance. I use muscle testing to communicate with the subconscious. And what we do is we create a list of either stressful emotions, like if you're feeling anxious about some aspect of your business, that's an emotion, anxiety. So, or frustration or sorrow or, whatever the emotions are. If people have those that they can bring up on their own, I get them to put them at the top of the list because those cover the most territory. And then we look for affirmation style statements to describe what they really would prefer having in their life, right? So first person, present tense, the thing they do want, not the thing they want to get rid of. Affirmation style things, present stuff. And, put it on the list, try to figure out the order of importance to the person. And then we just go down the list. We muscle test each item on the list. And if we get a weak response to the muscle testing, we stop and we work with that. And once we resolve that, then we go on to the next item on the list. And so the actual procedure of changing a belief varies because we muscle test to figure out the best way to change that particular belief or emotion. But it could be something really simple because people wonder, what is it? If you haven't had a session with me, it's like, what strange things happen? And it can be, it could be something as simple as sitting with your ankles crossed and your wrists crossed and your hands like this, because that's got a lot of things crossing the midline, which help you get in a whole brain state. And that makes it easier to change the subconscious. So it's things like that. You're not, doing yoga positions or, having electric shock or, or out there somewhere where I'm controlling your mind. It's just, it's a very collaborative process. And it usually takes less than 5 minutes for any individual change to happen. Now, a lot of situations are caused by a combination of beliefs and emotions. So I'm not saying that in 5 minutes, whatever the problem is, you could solve it. Although that has happened. Sometimes you get lucky and hit the linchpin on the first try. But, sometimes you don't. So you don't know. People will say, well, this is the issue. How many sessions will I need? And it's like, I have no idea. It's, I don't know how complicated it is, how well we're going to be able to zero in on what's causing it and how many layers we have to go through. So it's like a discovery process. But I work with people who want change, obviously. And I work with coaches that have clients that have blocks because, and some coaches include me in their packages because everybody's got resistance to things. If they're going for a coaching program, there are things that have kept them from succeeding on their own to begin with. And so some of the coaches I work with just build me in. And that way I can help get rid of those blocks in the beginning of the program. The client can go back and be wildly successful in the coaching program, and they think the coach is amazing because they got the goal that they wanted, right? So it's everybody's happy. The client's happy, the coach is happy, I'm happy. I like it when I see people get rid of stuff that's holding them back. So that's always fun. But a lot of times I work with coaches and they just refer them as needed because there's something that's just making them stuck. People ask how many sessions, like I said, and I can't ever tell them, but usually I'll tell them, come for one session, change what we can, go back, see what your life is like now, and figure out if you want to come back and change something else, And so, they might come back to do more work on that particular area of their life. They might come back to work on other areas of their life based on what changes they saw with that. It could be lag times. It could be the next week. It depends on their urgency and how excited they are. Some of them are like, I've got this list and I want to do all this stuff, or they want to go sign up for the next PsycK workshop so they can do it themselves, which is cool. I help them find those. You never really know. When I do have packages, and people tend to sign up for those, I never recommend they do it first. I like them to have one session first just to see how it works. But for the people that sign up for packages, it's either they've got long-standing situations that they feel are really complex and they just really want to dig in and make sure they get all of it taken care of, or they got specific major goals that they want to invest the time into achieving. They know they've got a series of things they want to get to, and they just want to set it up that way. Significant physical symptoms of stress, people will frequently sign up for a package because they just, their life experience this is based on a lot of different contributing factors, and they want to get to the bottom of it. Or the people with a whole variety of beliefs, and they just want to put a little structure into the approach and save a little money in the process, which I can relate to because I've never gotten to the bottom of my list yet, and I've been doing it for 8 years. So, there's always something, right? I have easy access, but some people, they go, yeah, let's see where we go. What can we change in this many sessions? So that's kind of the way I approach these sessions and what happens in a session. I'd open it up for questions and answers.
All right. Thank you. I just love that presentation, by the way. I just learned it. And my camera was off, but I was listening. I was getting a minute of walking in, so my watch would not yell at me. So it was awesome. Let's see who's got questions for Judy, or maybe I know some of you have used Judy's services, so maybe a shout out, any kind of comments. Go ahead whenever you're ready. Go ahead, Susan. Shelton.
I'm just baffled how you do a muscle testing remotely.
Okay. So you've heard of remote Reiki, right?
No.
Okay. Well, a lot of modalities tap into the energy field and can be effective remotely. And so Reiki practitioners at a certain level can do Reiki remotely for people. It's the same thing with PsycK. I tap into an energy field and I do the muscle testing as the person.
Oh.
And then they do the rest of it wherever they are, just as if they were in my office.
Oh, that's so cool. No,
so it's called going into surrogation, and it's taking advantage of the quantum field, because we're all connected one way or another.
It makes sense. If you've worked with Mary Beth, it's all done remotely. So yeah, I just wasn't sure when you said muscle testing how that could happen. So that's cool.
I do it this way. This is my arm.
Okay.
Those who've worked with me have seen me do this. They can see, I let them at least see what's strong and what's weak so that they know what's going on.
That's a great question.
That is wild.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Who else has a question or comment for Judy? Go ahead, Debbie.
I have to just say that Judy is truly amazing because through the process of muscle testing, you can uncover what really is at the base of it. And so interestingly, when I worked with Judy, you know, remember in the beginning of the year, I lost my voice for 3 weeks. We come to find out as she's doing the testing, this memory surfaced of my mother when I was about 4 telling me to be quiet because my brother, who was very ill, could die. And so there was this childhood link. Mm-hmm. I had no memory of it until we did this whole process together. And it was like, oh my God, no wonder I lost my voice.
And it's very interesting because you think about how that might affect your visibility too. Mm-hmm. Afraid of being allowed in the marketplace.
Yeah. And the fear of money. I cannot get into fear about money anymore. Like I can have a lot of reactions, but fear is not one of them, which is fascinating.
That's awesome. Thank you, Debbie, for sharing that. Very, very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Who else has a question or a comment? I know we always do it.
One of my funny ones, I always, people always go, tell me an example. And I had one that was really funny. I don't think I shared it in this group. I think I shared it maybe in Susan's group. But I had a guy come in about a month ago who, when I said, what do you want to be different? He says, I want to like vegetables. He's a overnight truck driver that I was surprised found me. He was like, this really meat and potato guy. He liked his favorite meal was 2 hamburgers, some potatoes, and maybe a salad if it didn't have too many vegetables in it. And the idea of cooked vegetables is gross to me. He texted me about 3 weeks later going, you won't believe this. I actually like a plate of cooked vegetables better than a hamburger now. But it was such a funny, it's like, I just want to like vegetables. And it was like, it was such a simple request, and it was just the whole part of it was like, I laughed, which is a horrible reaction when somebody says what they want to change. But it was like, it just caught me off guard, But yeah, I mean, there can be so many things there. And it was tied to he doesn't have any idea what it was, but back to childhood, something about cooked vegetables was connected with something that he really just wasn't happy about. So
that's interesting. Well, but good for him, because a lot of people would be like, I'm just never going to eat vegetables. He wanted to maybe for healthier lifestyle.
For health reasons, yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, actually, he goes to an acupuncturist that referred him to me, was how he found me. Yeah.
And how about a truck driver reaching out to holistic practices? That isn't a stereotype we normally would think of.
Exactly. Not my target audience,
Not by occupation, but certainly by belief system, right? You just never know.
You never do. Absolutely. I've seen such a variety of people come in for different reasons.
That's awesome.
Somebody they know, they trusted had referred them, or they're just exploring. There's so many people right now that are looking for answers. And so I have gotten, in the last 2 years, I've gotten the widest variety of clients that I've ever had. Just people who was like, isn't that interesting? I never would have thought somebody who does this would have been on this path. And yet they're coming from everywhere. It's very encouraging.
That is awesome. So proud of you. Yeah, Connie Jo, go ahead.
I worked with Judy last Friday, and I felt like I had a breakthrough, but now I'm realizing there's more. So I'm going to need more help. And I'm really curious, you said you do workshops. How does that work?
Oh, so I do 2 types of workshops. What I was referring to were workshops where people can learn how to do Psych K for themselves or for others. If you take the basic workshop, you learn 2 ways of changing beliefs that are the most common that I use with people. I mean, it's certainly enough to do very well with anything. It's a 3-day workshop. It's like 20 CEUs for RNs or licensed massage therapists. It's pretty intense. I'm not certified to teach, but I used to sponsor them, but I know who's having them where. I can look it up. So when people are interested, I try to find them something that I can connect them to.
Okay.
Or I do group things with a lot of coaches will have me come in and do a group presentation, group balances, and I'll go into surrogation for the whole group. I mean, they'll all be in their separate places following along, but I'll be doing it too in case they don't quite finish with the group. It still works for them. Yeah. And those aren't tailored to the person. You know, that's obviously the most common things probably related to whatever the topic of that coach's program is.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was a good question too. I just want to give a shout out to Danielle, who slipped in here a few minutes ago. Danielle is a member of Susan's chapter, and now that her kids have gone to school, she's hoping to get to know us all here as well. So Danielle, I know you're incognito. Oh, there she is. She's driving.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like, kids are finally back in school, and the saga just continues. We had a storm yesterday. I have no internet connection, so finally I'm like, all right, I'll just try to go to the Panera or something. So I'm in the car right now.
You're fine. Well, it's so good to see you. Thank
you.
So much for being here. We'll come back to you, and you can do an announcement in just a few minutes.
Great.
Awesome.
That's thank you.
She did put her information in the chat box so that we can say hi to her that way. Hey, Margaret, go ahead.
So, Judy, how in the world did you get started in this? What led you? What path? What opened up for you? How'd you get here?
Well, as most of you know, I was decades as an IT manager, and I didn't really have much exposure to anything alternative. I'd heard the term Reiki. I tried acupuncture. I was open to stuff. I just wasn't exposed to much. But my husband had a serious pain in his tailbone. And a friend of ours took him off to the side and and 5 minutes later, that pain was gone. I mean, he'd had it for 3 days. It was excruciating. And it wasn't Psych K that she used then, but that was my opportunity to see that some energy work could be really effective. So a few years later, she popped in with, she had learned Psych K at this point in time, and his former husband had some other issue. And so she said, oh, well, let's see, let me show you this new thing I learned. And so she did Psych K, and that worked with him as well. But it was like I was watching, and it wasn't as mystical as, other things. You don't have to channel anything. It's a process. It's procedures. It didn't take special gifts, or channeling information that I hadn't figured out how to access or anything like that. And it really resonated with me. And obviously the opportunities of being able to do something like that were very appealing. So I took the first class just so I could use it with myself and this poor husband that kept wanting things done. And whatever friends were open to it, which was very few in Richmond. But but it was really good to have for me as I started on my journey with it. And then in 2014, I decided to turn it into a business. I've taken all the classes, most of them several times, and so I thought, well, I could actually do this as a business, and it's just joyful. It's exactly what I should be doing. I love it.
That's how you know. Good for you.
Yeah.
We are glad you are doing it, for sure.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for presenting. I know as we go around announcements, I'm sure we'll have more questions and comments for you, but I want to go ahead and kick off the announcement portion of our meeting. A chance to share what you're promoting, your shout outs, whatever you'd like to share with us today. So now I'm going to start at kind of the bottom, not bottom of my heart though. Connie Jo Miller, then Susan Rose.
I'm part of Changemakers, Celestial Changemakers. And part of the process was writing a manifesto. And my manifesto deals with wanting to help people get control of their money, and specifically women who are maybe stuck in a relationship because of money. So I would love to help women that are stuck in that situation. If you know anyone who is maybe either married or they're just in a relationship that they're really they're in because they're scared about the financial implications if they're not in that relationship. I would love to help them break free and get control of their life and their money.
Oh my God, I'm so proud. I've been waiting for you to say that for so long. Oh, Connie Jo, thank you.
Maybe Judy helped me say that. I don't know.
Oh my God, thank you, Judy Kane. That's awesome. How many of you know of people who or you were once in those shoes, right? Yeah, I was thinking several of you. So thank you, Connie Jo. Let's keep our ears to the ground for those ladies who need help. Susan Rose, then Danielle.
Right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Danielle. So glad you got here. Judy, that was a great presentation. It's always good to hear you talk about what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, helps me understand it more. So my ask today is pretty simple. I have a new website for the Content Planner. So I'd love for you all to check it out, share it with people, and help me reach my audacious goal of selling a lot of them.
I would say it's an attainable goal, my love.
It is. It's attainable.
Yes, it absolutely is. Congratulations on the way. I thought it looked great.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
More to come, but it's
more to come. Good for you.
Good to put it out.
Danielle, do you want to do a quick, short intro and then an announcement?
Yeah, sure. Danielle Hayden, Kickstart Accounting. We do bookkeeping for entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs hire us to take all of their accounting off their plate and empower women by understanding their numbers so that you can grow your business. My ask today, we have taken all of our experiences and client questions and everything that we've learned from working with other business owners, and we created a book. It's a planner, so something that you can use to schedule your days and write your goals. Has financial education for every week and then an action task for every day to help entrepreneurs create additional profits in their business. So if you know anybody who is struggling to create a profitable business, if you could share the Profit Planner Foundations with them, and I'll put that in the chat box. And I would love if everybody could go and check out the website. It's a newer website, and download the first 7 days.
Awesome. Look forward to that. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you for being here. By the way, no meeting next Friday.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I'm trying to get to know you people, and you're not even here.
I would have been very confused.
So enjoy your Labor Day.
Okay.
All right, then we'll go Debbie, then Judy Kane.
That means me now, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Judy. I think you're amazing. I hope you know that. And I just absolutely am astounded at how cool the process is. So as I'm listening, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, I think there's a few more sessions in my future. The more you uncover, right? So what am I doing? I've been working quite a bit lately on helping people create their irresistible free offers, particularly like an e-guide or an e-book to get on their websites, ones that are really client attractive to help them grow their email list. So if you know of anybody who says something like, my list is really small, or I'm not being seen, or I don't have a free giveaway, I'd love to just be connected with them because I know that I can help them come up with what will work for them. It may not end up being an e-guide, but we can brainstorm. Or as someone asked, they wanted to borrow my brain, and I love those kinds of sessions. So I'd love to be connected to people. So thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Judy Kane, then Susan Shelton.
Okay, so I came prepared. If you haven't liked my Facebook page, please do. I'm starting to put content in there that's actually mine. It's all part of my marketing program now. Or if you're not on my mailing list or would like to see my irresistible free offers, I've got one for individuals and one for coaches, so you can take your choice there. Or if we haven't had a one-to-one and you've got more questions, I'm always happy to answer questions and to learn more about what you're doing. So there's a way to schedule a session with me. It's just like a 30-minute coffee date type thing, just for talking.
Talking and sipping. Thank you, Judy. Susan Shelton, then Hannah.
Judy, what a great presentation. Thank you. I think I would like to probably schedule another coffee date with you. Hopefully my internet will be working a little better than the last week. I have gremlins in my internet. As far as an ask, it's more just an announcement. I was at convention last week. We announced 4 new products. They're pretty phenomenal. One is a hormonal support for women 40 and over to help support them through the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, sort of hot flashes be gone. We also launched a cognitive support product that supports memory, learning function, information processing, and clarity. It's a nootropic, and sort of the brain fog be gone. And then we announced a 2-step approach to oral care. Not only a new whitening toothpaste, but also an oral probiotic. By the way, the toothpaste is no fluoride. So if you know anyone who these products may be able to benefit, and Kelly, yes, I want to do a one-to-one with you, fill you in a little bit more in depth, but if you know anyone that could benefit from those products, reach out to me. These are we're getting really good responses on them. So that's what I've got. Thanks.
Awesome. You got a big thumbs up from Kelly on that. No fluoride.
No fluoride. Big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Thank you so much for that update. Hannah, then Kelly Lutman.
I just wanted to thank Judy for the presentation, and I would like to read out my recommendation or testimonial that I wrote to her, because to me, Judy is the queen of psyche. And I wrote, in the time of overwhelm and stress, I turned to Judy for help. She guided me to express the statements that needed to be balanced. And she did that in a way that felt like having a massage or acupuncture treatment to my subconsciousness, leaving me with a feeling of deep healing. By prompting and asking, Judy even helped me to dig out a statement that I was not aware of myself, but which turned out to be crucially important to get out into the light. I will certainly want to explore my mind more under her guidance, and I recommend her work warmly to everyone. And I am so happy to hear that Connie Jo has finally visited Judy, because I have been nagging her about that for weeks. Like Connie Jo, I am also in the Change Makers program, and even if I'm not ready to publish my manifesto quite yet, I have actually started a new type of blog post on my blog, and this is more like what I will be doing in the future when I finally don't care a shit about what anybody says. So I want you to read those are called quote posts, and I will post the link to the first one here. So I'm very happy to hear what you like, or if you like it, or what you think about it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you,
Hannah. Very sweet.
Kelly, then Jennifer.
Loved your first quote post, Hannah. It was really good. I like the way you write. And
Thank
Judy, I think our 30-minute coffee chat turned into an hour or something, didn't it? It's easy. But I definitely will be scheduling, because there's some things going on in here that I need to sort out, and I can't.
Everybody has it. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah.
Coordination isn't there right now, but thank you. It just, the more we get to know and understand, and then because we all are in the same, I want to say we're in the same mindset. We're all desiring to learn, to break out of our molds so that we can share our brownies, as Fabienne says, that, you know, we lead each other to answers. And that's so cool. Just inspiring each other. I really appreciate it. As far as my ask today, I don't have anything specific coming up because I'm planning vacation coming up. Yay! And don't want to crowd that out, you know. But if you know somebody, you know, I said yesterday at an in-person networking, if you know someone who's a mess, who, you know, can't eat here because they can't eat that food, or they take so many pills they don't have room for food, that just really would like to have a handle on what's happening in their body versus what's this doctor and this doctor and that doctor and that doctor saying to do. That's where I can help, is help them see what the whole picture is and help them begin to work in conjunction with their body instead of just answering it with a bunch of medications. That's my delight. My newest client came with a list of 19 prescriptions with 13 on the side as needed. And so it will be a little bit of a journey for us, but I'm trusting that we're going to make a difference for her. And, you know, she's not locked into a lifetime sentence of these diagnoses. So that's the type of thing I love to do, is set people free and help them find out how good they can feel in their body.
That's amazing, Kelly. We'll send that patient or your client good wishes as he or she releases those pharmaceuticals. Jennifer, then Margaret.
Hello again. Danielle, it's nice to meet you. You're coming over from, what was it, from the Monday group, so it's nice to have you here. I hope you'll keep joining us. It's a fun group too. And I don't really have an announcement, but I do want to thank everybody here that I've worked with and that has entrusted me with whatever project we've tackled together. I've really enjoyed it. And just a couple of shouts. I did some work with Kelly, and then I have her her shampoo and conditioner products. It's this whole kit. And if some of you haven't tried it yet, I was really excited about the about the shampoo. And I thought, yeah, great, this is going to be awesome. And I have like thinning hair and stuff. But I'm actually finding that I love the conditioner way more than I thought I would. I don't know if you guys use conditioner over the counter, but I swear I can never wash it out. And this conditioner, you can wash it. It comes right out. It's so nice. It's, I mean, even my hairstylist years ago, she's like, you're not even getting your conditioner all out. And I'm like, it's impossible. It's, you know, I think it's just this cheap stuff. So it also smells pepperminty, which is lovely. And then Judy, thank you so much for that chat, that talk about your adventure. I don't know what you want to call it, but your new way out of, boy, IT, what a difference, huh? And I made some notes too. I thought it was really exciting how you talked about people wanting to get away from what they're focused on negatively, but they never seem to get past and think about what they actually want. It's like, well, and I was actually just talking to my husband about it too. I'm like, okay, I get that you're whatever, you know, upset about whatever, but how do you really want to feel? And I think he kind of paused and doesn't even know, you know. He's been so focused on the negative part for so long. It's like, well, what do you even want? And it's like, well, you better think about that, because that's the direction you should move in instead of the other way. So exactly. I found that very interesting. So thanks for your talk. I don't really have any announcements other than that. So
that's awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Margaret, then me.
Okay. So thank you, Judy, again. That was great. And it was fun to hear how you got started in all of this. And yes, I'm sure we'll be working again together soon. So And I'm still, and I'm processing for the box. It's not in my house. It may be in my garage. Hadn't gotten there yet, but we'll see. So I have a box that is not yet opened from my move, and we're identifying where it is located. So that's what that's about. So I have a couple of shout outs, one of which is to Debbie Keevan and our coffee date last week. She helped me come up with a great new tagline about coaching women, 50 and over in the life design process so that they create a life design process so that the rest of their life is the best of their life.
Oh,
So thank you for that. I had to change my my one sheet that talked about it, so got that done. Shout out to Susan Rose, who also did a great video about her content planner. So if you haven't watched that, it might be helpful to even pass that on to people so that they can understand what it's really about. So I wanted to thank you all for that. Also, my announcement is a reminder, and I'm going to put it in the chat box here, that
Oh, you're muted, Margaret.
I muted myself by mistake. I'm sorry. I said I've offered to everyone in the virtual networking group. I did a LinkedIn presentation last week for Susan's group. So everyone in virtual networking, I will offer the opportunity to review your profile with you or help you learn how to create your own company profile on LinkedIn. So that's coming in the chat box.
Awesome. Very generous. Thank you very much.
And a couple of more authors that I like.
Oh, Pat Conroy, it's a good one. All right, I have a few now. I know we're running over, but if you could just bear with me for just a minute or two. So, virtual networkers, again, reminder, no meeting next Friday. We do have our open house on Wednesday, September 11th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to those of you who've offered up raffle items, offered up your testimonials. Next week, I'm going to be sending you the agenda, as well as Hannah's gorgeous, cute graphics to help us promote the event. And I ask that you, if you could think about who to invite and maybe emailing your list or posting on your Facebook group or page or whatever, the more publicity, the better. So that information, I'll be emailing it to you as well as putting it in the Facebook group. Also, we now have a Facebook page. I know many of you have already liked that page. I thank you so much. I did put the link to the page in our Facebook group. If you haven't liked it, please do so. Feel free to start inviting your friends to it, those who maybe might be interested in virtual networking, maybe have attended in the past but haven't come back, that type of thing. Your speaker friends that maybe have come and spoken, let's start inviting them. Going forward, all of our events for the chapters, Susan already has her up for next week. We'll be doing all of our events from that page. Next week, I'll be adding all of you as editors on that page so that you can place your own content on there. I'm going to send you some guidelines, some rules of the road, so we are staying in integrity. I know I probably don't even need to do it with this group, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'll have that out to you as well. Additionally, thank you to Hannah, who created all of our graphics, not only for the open house, but for our Facebook page. And we've also created a new member checklist, which I'll be sharing with you all soon, so that as we welcome new members, they will know exactly what to be doing and where to go, what to like, and what to follow, and blah, blah, blah. Hannah did a great job on that. I'll be sharing that with you. As part of that checklist is our attendance policy. It's time now to really get serious about our attendance in our 2 chapters. So I'll be sharing that with you. And to talking more about that next week, I'll probably just do a Facebook Live in our group. So if you could just keep an eye out for that, there will be some repercussions if you don't show up. So we want to just maintain the intent. Yes. 5 switches. Go pick out your switch. No, just kidding. Jennifer's mother used to say that, so mine did not. She just went and got a wooden spoon. But we will have an attendance policy. I think it's time for that. We have some members who aren't attending, but we want them to attend. And I think that just by having a formal policy, that'll help us all stay in integrity to our commitments here. So all that's coming. I don't have any calls next week So next week is Jill on the computer just dashing this stuff out. If you're on vacation, it'll be waiting for you when you get back. No big deal. But if you could just review that, I would appreciate it. So any questions?
I'm sorry, it's at 5 that night, right?
Yeah, 5. What did I say?
No, I think you did. I was just checking my calendar to make sure I had it right.
Yeah, thank you. 5 to 6:30. Okay. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Bring a friend or 7. Susan, did you want to announce the thing real quick?
I can announce the thing. Half the people in here know. Connie Joe is just asking me if we were announcing it yet. So we're going to change the day and time of the Chillpreneurs Wednesday group, and it's going to, after the open house, so starting September 16th, be Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yay!
Everybody happy. So we tried 5 p.m. Not a good time, as it turns out, for anybody on the planet. So Mondays at 3, starting September 16th. And thank you for my future speakers who've already said that the switch is good for them.
Awesome.
Connie Jo.
Yeah. Awesome.
So Connie Jo, it's out now. You can freely talk about it.
It is not updated on the website yet. We will update it closer to the date if you share that with anybody. We don't want to make it too confusing for poor Laura Shipman, who Laura is moving in her daughter to FSU. She's in tears. So sending Laura lots of love. Thank you all for staying just a few minutes after for those announcements. I really appreciate you all. I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend for those of you celebrating. And I'll see you all on the next Zoom call. Bye.